What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are enjoying your wonderful Saturday. Hopefully, you guys got the day off, and if you're here in Denver, Colorado, then you're enjoying another cloudless, sunny, hot ass day. Usually, it would say down here, but it's not saying anything right now. But I'm not here to talk about the weather. I don't know what the hell. The moment I start, let me just pause this real quick. I promise you that will be on mute or silent because I keep on getting all these freaking. Usually your phone will say, like, spam call or whatever. It's not saying that. So, and oftentimes I'm getting calls from, well, people that I need to talk to. And it's, many times they're out of town calls. And I get a lot of calls from California that are spam, but it doesn't show up spam. Anyways, it had me thinking, not about the phone calls, but how do we usually measure a great athlete? Because I always see on YouTube, whenever I'm looking at things or searching for things, I constantly see the younger generation wanting to put LeBron James as the GOAT, as the greatest of all time. Whereas people in my generation, I actually got to see Michael Jordan play twice. And his accolades and what he has done in half the length of time that LeBron has done. Because remember, I mean, Jordan said it himself. If he wanted to go after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record, which he still holds the NBA record for the most points scored um, ever, points per game, I should say. Now, I still kind of get confused because I know there's metrics now that measure plus and minus and all these other statistics, which, being a hometown, fan of the Nuggets, like Nikola Jokic is just breaking, and the guy, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I've been following basketball like crazy because I haven't. If anything, I jumped on the bandwagon that they won the finals because I never thought in my lifetime I'd see them win the finals at all. Nobody did until the past maybe 3 years, and even then I wasn't paying attention because the NBA has gotten so soft. But also being a big fan of the Denver Broncos, of the Colorado Avalanche, how do we normally measure the greatest players? And it's usually by championships. So when you take that into equation, how do we measure the greatest singers? And some will say by record sales, other will say by Grammy wins. I don't see Beyonce coming to concert in Denver and it actually hitting the news in Denver like this. So if I come here and I look on, let's just say, what the hell? Because this has been on nonstop. I don't know why I just did that. This has been on like crazy on every single effing Denver news station in the effect that it has had on the city of Denver. So let me just give you an example here. That this would even be a news story. I don't know what's going on in the sound here. Oh, that's why.
And our tears all left out there for you.
Welcome to NWSL!
Like a champion.
In Denver, Taylor Swift fans line up outside Ball Arena. They've been there all day long, and this is the first of two concerts for that superstar. Her era's concerts could give $140 million to Colorado's GDP. The Common Sense Institute says
Jesus
concertgoers on
Christ.
average going to spend $1,300 on related expenses like tickets and travel.
So mind you, this is a 5 minute and 30-second segment on the news. I used to have a really, really good friend who worked for, no, I'm not going to say for who, just in case he still has ties there and everything, but he used to be one of the guys that would interview the Denver Nuggets as they would be coming off the floor. And this was many, many years ago when we still had Allen Iverson, we had, Chauncey Billups, Carmelo Anthony, players like that. And he would, like, just do the same thing like Greg Sager before he passed away. Like, hey, how do you think the half went? Blah, blah, blah. and all that. And I actually met him golfing. He was just golfing by himself, and usually they want you golfing in, you know, groups of 4. And so he's like, hey, do you mind if I golf with you guys? And so, like, we're like, no. We didn't even know who he was at first. And then we're like, oh, that's cool. I'm not, you know, I don't really care about meeting celebrities, and especially local celebrities. He was just a down-to-earth, cool-ass dude. Comes to my bachelor party. We went and shot pigeons and clays that day because I don't drink. And then went out to, like, one of Colorado's most expensive steakhouses. And then they were trying to get me to go to a strip club, which I'm like, been to one, you've been to them all. Like, but I don't see the big deal. But no, like, the coolest guy. But I mean, he had worked for a news station. I'm not going to say which one in Colorado. But he was put off by it so much because they would tell him if there was like a tragedy or something, like, oh, try to get the family to, you know, cry a little bit more, say things that might get them to express a little bit more, you know, their feelings. And he's like, are you fucking serious? So he switched over to sports for a completely different station. And he has some crazy stories. But this is a 5-minute and 30-minute segment. 5 minutes and 30-second segment on Taylor Swift's effect on Colorado's GDP.
And Michael, it's going to be a busy weekend in Denver.
It certainly is. An estimated 75,000 fans expected to attend the concerts tonight and tomorrow at Mile High, and that means
Mile High holds approximately 82,000, and you have to remember, Mile High is also the stadium where Obama accepted the Democratic Party's nomination for him to be their next presidential candidate. So they added more seats, which I think that was the most packed. I will always call it Mile High Stadium. Everybody here in Colorado calls it Mile High Stadium because it switched so many names. It started off in Vesco Field at Mile High. Shortly, it was Dick's. No, not Dick's. One of the sports stores that went under. They filed for bankruptcy. Fuck it. I'm not even going to care. And now it's Empower Field at Mile High. But it's always going to be Mile High Stadium. As long as the horse is there, it's Mile High Stadium, because that comes from the original Mile High Stadium. So
you should expect busy roads in and around downtown Denver. There have been reports of...
In case I didn't finish it, there was 100 and I want to say 30,000 people for Obama's inauguration when he came, so they put a shitload of more seats in there. Now that Greg Penner, one of the Waltons, the CEO, the big Walton out of all of them, I mean, $1 billion's probably, you know, pocket change to him. He wants to build a new stadium. I hope to God, because the stadium now was built in 2000. It's 2024, so it's 24 years old. When you go and see it, it doesn't look that old. Great architecture, great, I mean, beautiful all the way around, but I hope he builds a dome stadium, because then we could have the Super Bowl here, and that would do even better to boost Colorado's GDP, even though it is fucking expensive as hell to live out here. Ask anybody who lives in Denver, Colorado, how expensive it is to live out here. It is what it is.
Hours-long traffic lines because of Swifties shows, and they're proving to be true as well in Denver. Swift may be the biggest show in town, but she's far from the only major event in Denver this weekend. The Rockies hosting the Yankees for a 3-game series this weekend, and Cirque du Soleil taking place at Ball Arena.
Yeah, on top of that, thousands of veterinarians are in Denver for the American Veterinarian Medical Association Conference. That is at the Colorado Convention Center. Now, traffic won't be limited to I-25 and downtown either. C-470 going to be busier than usual as Bandimere Speedway hosts its final Mile High Nationals event, and popular Colorado jam band String Cheese Incident playing at Red Rocks.
There's basically something for everyone this weekend. If you want to avoid the traffic tangle, public transportation can be a good option. RTD says it will be running extra train cars in all of its buses this weekend. Good timing, too. RTD offering free rides through its Zero Fare program all through July and August. The city is also encouraging people to find bike routes to the stadium. Spencer Wilson traveled down from the mountains today and helps us cover the Taylor Swift madness. And he might be having too much fun. At 4, Spencer was rocking the flannel, emulating Taylor's look from her Evermore album. At 5, he then changed into a cardigan from the Folklore album. Spencer joins us now live once again. And Spencer, you have changed yet again. Your dedication to this story is unmatched, my friend.
You gotta jump in, man. When people are having fun out here, I will say for the Swifties watching, though, they will correct you. You've got those albums mixed up, my friend. That's okay. Not everyone is as dedicated as the people out here, like my girlfriend, who also came by, and our good friend Nicole, who wanted to pass off one more bracelet. And I have to bring her in because some of this stuff that I've been wearing from her closet. So it's an important piece that we have full representation. But like we said, when you're out here, you just gotta get into it. What's up? For many, it's the moment they've waited for months.
It didn't feel real at first until I got here, and then I was like, holy cow, like the merch truck? Oh my gosh, I'm very excited.
Olivia came from Utah. She made the friendship bracelets on the way east and came ready to sparkle.
This is kind of everything, more lover kind of. I do have the reputation snake on my finger, and lover and everything. I'm very excited.
It's not just the tunes, though, although that is a lot of it.
I think she's a really good singer.
Taylor Swift is huge. Like one of the biggest pop star on the planet.
It's also the lyrics that inspire young talent like Melanie, who's been following Taylor for months now and playing outside.
She got pushed around, somebody made you go.
I think Denver, honestly, I have to give it to them. They're the most, like, supportive and welcoming, and all of their outfits are slaying.
But again, it's about more than just the music. It's a culture, like who's the best ex-boyfriend?
Harry Styles, of course.
Harry Styles.
Yes.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, that's
Actually,
fighting
I don't
words.
know why I said that.
Well, it's on TV now. These teens were kind enough to let me make some bracelets with them, while their mom searches for last-minute tickets. She said she'll pull the trigger if it drops below $500.
Have you ever purchased anything close to that expensive in your lives?
No. Actually, no.
And then there's Josh, sweating it out in a full Speak Now purple to make sure his daughters have the best night of their lives. He is a Swiftie, to some extent.
The fourth biggest in our family of four.
And here you stand.
Yes. No, but I'm a fan. I know a lot of the music.
So whether you're just jumping on the bandwagon or you've been here since the self-titled album, there's always more to learn. I'm gonna stick with my best teachers.
What's the Taylor's version versus not Taylor's?
Well, this guy named Scooter Braun gets all the money.
Boo,
Yeah,
Scooter
boo. But he got all the money for her old music, so she's re-recording them to make them herself.
You can hear the excitement at this stage. There's not as many people out here, but you can feel the vibrations as people are getting ready for those guys to take the stage. Of course, the first warm-up band, and then Taylor comes on who knows when, but there will be cheers loud enough that you'll hear them all across Denver, I am sure. And I wanted to thank you guys for letting me be our CBS Colorado representative for the Taylor Swift concert. I am not exactly super qualified, but gosh dang it, I'm having a good time.
So, I'm going to show you something that might blow your mind. So, this is what I will call a very smart woman. Yes, she's pretty. Everybody's going to gawk over her. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh my God, she is so gorgeous, blah, blah, blah. Does she have variety? I don't really listen to her, but look at the effect that she has. I've never heard of Beyonce having that effect on anybody here in Denver, Colorado when she's come. Never. Maybe Metallica I've heard of. Excuse me. I cannot. Michael Jackson, when he came back in the 80s when I was a little kid and I got to go see him for the first time, that was like awe-inspiring. I was like, holy shit, this is so cool. And like, I was like not even 10 years old yet, but I mean, huge Michael Jackson fan. He had that effect. But who owns the most Grammys? Beyonce. Why do you think Eminem says this about the Grammys? Before I go on to Eminem, this is what I wanted to show you guys, and this is why I respect her. She is a smart-ass businesswoman. How many patents does Taylor Swift have? Her first trademark registrations date back to 2008 for the protection of her name in association with musical recordings, live performances, and clothing. Since then, she has filed over 350 trademark for album names, lyrics, perfumes, her fan base, and more. She by far has the most patents regarding her fame. Now, many people didn't know this, but when you would go out to dinner and it would be somebody's party, birthday party, the restaurant would do a completely different type of happy birthday song. And you guys know why. Rhetorical question. If you don't, Michael Jackson owned the happy birthday song. So if there happened to be a representative of Michael Jackson or his record label in the house that heard them singing happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, guess what? They're going to get sued for using a patented song. I don't know how, because I don't know very many people, I mean, other than maybe posting a cute little video of a little kid's birthday party or something. If he was that hardcore to like copyright strike that, I'm sure YouTube's algorithm copyright strike that, so it let it get uploaded, but you'll see the copyright trademark owned, but it could still be public. It's kind of, I mean, happy birthday, I mean, that shit was out before he was even alive. So how in the hell can the patent office allow him to do that? I have no clue. That's like me going out, for instance, yellow. It's the sticky notes. The regular sticky notes that we have. They have a patent on their color of yellow. I don't know exactly the name of their yellow, but just like there is a patent on Vanta Black. If you haven't heard of Vanta Black, look it up. It reflects absolutely zero light. It is the blackest of black that you can possibly get. Let me just pull it up because I'm going to go off topic here for a little bit on a couple of things. I'll do the Vanta Black car because I think BMW did it, but this is Vanta Black. Not a very good picture, but it reflects zero light. No light will bounce off of it whatsoever. These are not Vanta Black. This is Vanta Black. That's Vanta Black. BMW is the only one who's made the Vanta Black, the real Vanta Black car. There it is. So if, what always comes to mind is, the scene on The Dark Knight where he goes into that quiet mode and he's like right next to the cop cars and they lose him. I don't know how the hell you could lose a big old fucking car like that because it gets super, super quiet. If it was Vanta Black, then I could understand. But I mean, you put this car, this BMW, because all these are knockoffs. They look just awful. The BMW, like I said, is the one who perfected it, who came out with it, who perfected it. This is it in the light. Those are, I bet you, 40, 50,000 lumen lights. You don't see it reflecting off the paint. You can see the car. It's not saying that the car is completely invisible. You can see it reflecting off the windows and everything, and the rims and, the chroming and license plates, the lights, you name it. But take all that out, take all these out, I guarantee you it would just look black as black. This might be, a hybrid sports car that's looking to use a Vanta Black, but usually what they do is, and anybody who knows a lot about, sports cars and stuff like that, I know a shitload about them, is they'll either wrap them or they'll make just like a shitty color and put it on them while they race around the track because they know there's people hiding out taking pictures of it. So they'll just make it look really, really shitty. They'll drive it out on the streets looking like this. I mean, you're not really going to like do a double take. I mean, like, oh yeah, that looks like a pretty cool car, but you know, is that something I really would, you know, you don't know what it is. It doesn't say Ferrari anywhere. It doesn't show, you know, anything. It just looks like a really badass sports car. But when you're that close to the Ferrari testing center, many people are like, oh yeah, that's a Ferrari. But that's not Vanta Black. This is another crazy-ass picture of Vanta Black. So these are things that I'm just getting to that people talk about when owning patents on certain things, how much money you can make off of it, because when the car and auto industry sees this, they're going to be like, we would love to use that. BMW, how much can we pay you to use that on our cars? Okay, you want to produce, let's say, 6 million cars in Vanta Black? We'll charge you, you know, $750,000 for every car that you make. That's how the shit works. Maybe not that much or that to that extent. You know, the company itself might try to dabble in making that Vanta Black, and they might come very close, but it's not the original. And that is what gets people crazy, is that, you know what? This is the original Vanta Black. So let me move on from the cars and let me talk about the Grammys. What makes the greatest singer?
You go in really hard about the Grammys in a way, man, you drag the Grammys in the mud when you talk about, you have a few Grammys, but you feel like you had to sell your soul to get them. And you didn't know if you wanted it for the recognition or the trophies, but then what's the difference? You know, and that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows. And
Which they do. They do it every fucking year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win album of the year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now. Mm-hmm. You know, sat at home this year for the Grammys and watched Jay and Kendrick not get it. And I felt like one of them should have got it. I felt like Joyner Lucas should have won a Grammy for I'm Not Racist.
Yeah.
Absolutely should have won a fucking Grammy. Every year we went, it was, I would be up for album of the year, and then the winner is Norah Jones. Who? And I'm not even trying to say anything bad about her music. I just, at that point, I had never heard of her.
Yeah.
And
so, one artist that I'm always talking about, Vanessa Carlton. They played her song non-stop, 1,000 miles. So, I think it was Norah Jones. She's so beautiful. Oh, it's just thought she was absolutely gorgeous. So 2003. 2003 Grammy Best New Artist. Well, artist. I wanted to say it was Norah Jones. I don't. Oh, I put 2009. My bad. Not 200. Jesus Christ, I can't type today. Why is it doing that? Ah, fuck this. Yep, it was Norah Jones. I knew it. Norah Jones which she beat out Vanessa Carlton. I know that. Who are the nominees? Fountains of Wayne? So, okay, maybe she wasn't up for the best new artist, but I know she was up for the best new song, which she still lost out to Norah Jones. Sean Paul? You fucking kidding me? Just give me the light. Fucking 50 Cent was coming out of that shit hot as hell. His album was like no other. And I'm not even a hip hop guy. Evanescence, I could definitely see because they were really hitting a stride. Fountains of Wayne, Stacy's mom has got it going on. What other song can you name off their track? Yeah, maybe Song of the Year, but that was about it. This man knows what he's fucking talking about.
None of my friends did either. You know what I'm saying? So we were like, okay, whatever. And then Steely Dan. Okay, I know who Steely Dan is. I know Steely Dan back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But more than the Marshall Mathers LP impact, like, okay, fine. I watched 50. Same shit. 50 did not win Best New Artist at the Grammys.
There was nothing bigger than 50.
Nothing bigger, and nobody,
yeah.
nobody since maybe like Snoop came out the gate like that. My first album didn't do it. I never saw someone's first album and the wave happen like he had. And then he doesn't get it. And then I get up there another year, and what was it, the Eminem show? And it was like, whatever. I'm fine if I lose to fucking Kanye or someone that I'm like, okay, I respect that. I know who that is, and Kanye has a huge following, and he's made a massive impact on music. Fine, I'm good with that. But don't fucking get us all here to use your selling point for your fucking show and stiff everybody every single fucking time. And I said, after that point in time, I was like, don't ever ask me to fucking come here again. Please do not ask me. My answer is no for 100 million years. Never again will I fucking go to the Grammys.
Well, now, you know, I know the Jimmy Jam and some of the members of the board there are reaching out. Just Blaze and different folks are now trying to make it better. Would you ever consider, you know, joining the board and maybe you have a vote in it?
First of all, that vote is fake as fuck. That's not a real vote.
Yep.
That's not a real vote. They give it to who they want to give it to. They give it to...
A good example of that is the NBA's most valuable player. I just told you, I just jumped on the Denver Nuggets bandwagon because they won. But for the first time, I started watching highlights of Nikola Jokic when he started making an impact on the league, winning his first MVP, his second MVP. And then I'm like, let me see what this dude is all about. You know, humble as fuck. Okay, that doesn't win you the MVP. Great ball player, that wins you the MVP. And then I see this Joel Embiid. And I'm watching the two, and I'm like, okay, the eye test, Nikola Jokic doesn't look like this dude who's going to fucking jump out of the goddamn arena. He doesn't look like this shredded up dude that is going to just, you know, look like a Ben Wallace. Like, Ben Wallace looked like the scariest motherfucker you would ever run across. You know, Dwight Howard wants to run his big-ass mouth. Okay, yeah, he was a great all-defensive player. Other than that, he had maybe one post-up move that anybody could... He fucking telegraphed every single one of his moves and just scored off of pure dominance because he could outpower somebody else. But if he was going up against somebody with the same power, maybe Nikola Jokic doesn't look like and is all shredded like freaking Dwight Howard. But you've seen him hold his shit against other guys who look strong as fuck, and he's just sitting there like, come on, let's do it. And he's fucking stopping them from backing him down. And when they know that they can't get within, you know, 4 feet, 3 feet, and shooting, you know, a little lazy, you know, skyhook jump like Dwight Howard knew how, I mean, he fucking sucked. He didn't have a shot. Couldn't shoot free throws as well as Nikola Jokic. He couldn't control the floor, even pass a quarter as good as Nikola Jokic. So there are so many different variables that make somebody the great at what they do. And this is my point. So let him finish this, and I'm going to give you a variety of singers, and I'm going to say, okay, look at the variety that this singer has as opposed to this one.
To their darlings, the fucking, oh, this got critical acclaim, but it sold 2 records. Like, it ain't about always what you sell. I get that, Vanilla Ice, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there comes a point where when an overwhelming something comes along that has this wave and impact on music, and you give it to fucking Lada fucking Dottie. Who? Lada Dottie. It's only Lada Dottie. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, I don't know who won over Kendrick and Jay. Bruno Mars is fucking incredible.
Bruno Mars is great. But I remember Beyonce didn't win for the album Lemonade. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell,
That's how it stops. So, even Sway is saying, what the hell? Example time. So guys, this is what I use to always edit my videos. It's this V right here, and I don't even know what the hell it stands for. Movie Studio Platinum. I don't know what the hell the V stands for. But it is such a pain in the ass, and that is what's been slowing down my videos. Not only that, but I need to upgrade this PC, and I'm really having my eyes on the Mac Mini Pro 2. Like the hyped up one, because this takes forever to load. I don't have shit in my memory bank. And then if you could see how many freaking different, like, I could just take a picture of this real quick and maybe it'll show up okay, but so I have a Samsung SSD hard drive in there, 3 terabyte. Not kidding you. I have 2 outer external banks on the side of it. And then I get all this shit constantly, like, oh, upgrade for this, upgrade for that. So, for you guys who use this Movie Studio Platinum 2022, wants me to upgrade to 2023, I'm like, I'm going to wait to get the Mac Mini Pro 2, like the badass, the big boy. And then I'm going to say, you know what? Whatever that runs off of, give me that. Because I heard that thing is super quick. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to upload the first part of this to hopefully get you guys to come back for part 2. So, hope you enjoy, you guys.